Hello, fellow cyborgs, and welcome to another day of the book review extravaganza. I hope you've been enjoying this week's worth of videos. Today is the second to last day. It is day 6. Wow. As the title suggests, today we are going to be talking about Abarat by Clive Barker. But before I get any further, book haiku. Follow prairie tides, wipe away your human eyes, and finally see. Abarat is the favorite book in this week that is my oldest favorite book. I first read this in 2008 at the very latest. This was one of the books that my best friend during high school gave me the ultimatum of, you need to read this book or we can't be friends anymore. She does that a lot. But I, most of the time, am very grateful to her because, she told me I needed to read this and she was oh so right. So Abarat is, I guess, technically a YA, though it doesn't read like YA nowadays. This book starts out with Candy Quackenbush, this teenager who's misunderstood and, not really well integrated with her community of Chickentown, USA. She's got a dysfunctional family and she just doesn't have a place in the world. Then one day she's out at the abandoned ruins of a lighthouse, even though she lives in the middle of the United States. There's no way that this lighthouse ever had any purpose at one point, but there it is. After a minor scuffle with some fantastical creatures, a tide rolls in and sweeps her into the Abarat. The Abarat is an archipelago of 25 islands, and each island exists in 1 hour of the day. So there's an island where it's always midnight, an island where it's always 3 p.m., and then there's a 25th island, which is very mysterious and no one really knows what goes on there. In the Abarat, Candy just tries to figure out how to survive, what's going on, tries to adapt to the culture. But the thing that I love about Candy is that she's so open-minded. She's been literally swept into this other world. She didn't want to go there. She didn't even walk through a wardrobe. And yet she reacts with just wonder and open-mindedness. And she finds beauty in these things that are completely otherworldly. I mean, even the world functions differently than hers. During her adventures, she meets some antagonists like Casper Wolfswinkel. She finds some friends like John Mischief and his brothers and Malingo. It's just really dang awesome, and no one talks about it. If you are going to read Abarat, which I highly recommend that you do, please get a copy that is illustrated, because Clive Barker with his Abarat books paints pictures and then puts them in with the texts so that you get to really see this world that he is trying to build for you. And you get to see the different characters, and it's just really, really, really adds to the reading experience. I don't know if I would have loved this as much had I just read like a mass market paperback version that did not have the illustrations. So if you decide to read this, please get an illustrated copy. Abarat is the first book in the Abarat series, which is supposed to be 5 books long. However, only to date 3 have been published. I adore Abarat, and I think I might even love the second one, Days of Magic, Nights of War, even better than this one. But the third one, I've only read it once when it came out. I pre-ordered it, so I've got these 2 huge trade paperbacks of Abarat 1 and 2, and then Abarat 3, Absolute Midnight, is this ginormously heavy, huge hardcover. So that's fine. That's fine. We're not going to dwell on it. But the third one, just the pacing was off. There were some really weird, character changes. It was just so strange. I really do need to reread Absolute Midnight and probably the entire series because it's been a while since I've reread them. I've reread Abarat, I think at least 2 or 3 times, and I think 2 times for Days of Magic, Nights of War, but it has been years since I've read them, so sometime soon. So I'll have to wait and tell you absolutely what I think about Absolute Midnight, but at this point in my life, if you're going to read Abarat, continue on with book number 2, but you don't need book number 3. Book number 2 doesn't end on a cliffhanger from what I can remember. You're at peace with how that one ends. You probably don't need the third, but I will do an update video once I reread the series at some point in the future. Abarat is a wonderful place to start, and then you can decide if you want to move on. This also doesn't really have a cliffhanger, though of course, I love this world, so I want to know more and more and more about it, so every new book, I'm just like, yeah. So at its core, Abarat is a book about friendship and a book about embracing adventure, about doing the right thing, even though you could get away with not putting yourself into a situation that could potentially be dangerous. Candy Quackenbush is just so upright and just really, really concerned with equality and kindness. So she can't help herself. She just sticks her nose into things. If she can solve a problem, if she can spare someone pain, then she'll do it because she's Candy. And hi, Candy. You're awesome. So read Abarat if you like reading about people from our world getting pulled into new worlds. Read about Abarat if you like archipelagos and you think that you would want to learn more about these islands that exist only in 1 hour of the day. Read Abarat if you love YA stories that are about friendship and not about romance. And read Abarat if you want to make me happy, because like Skullduggery Pleasant series, the Abarat books, I never hear anyone talk about them anywhere in real life or on BookTube, and this was like my favorite series for a long time. It's still some of my favorite books, but my best friend and I both agree that if the 4th book is going to be anything like Abarat number 3, we just want Clive Barker to just silently let the series die and not bother finishing it out. So please give Abarat a try. If any of things that I said sound interesting to you, if you love art, if you love adventure, if you love friendship, if you love learning about interesting new worlds that are fantastic, that tiptoe and creepy, but also on whimsical and wonderful, please give Abarat a try. I don't think I, really did Abarat justice in that review, but unfortunately it's one of those books where it's really hard to explain why it's so lovely and why I love it. It just is wrapped up in the world building and the writing and the characters, and it's very hard to articulate that. It also doesn't help that I haven't read it in quite some time, so I don't have many details stuck in my head, though I do have the overarching plot still hanging on up there. So I'm absolutely due for a reread on that for sure. So hopefully you'll be hearing my rereading thoughts about that in the upcoming months, maybe at the end of summer or something like that. Thank you for watching me tell you to read something just based on my recommendation alone rather than actually facts and persuasive language. Until next time, I hope you do look into picking up Abarat, and if you read it, please let me know how you found it. I'd love to talk about it with someone other than the one friend who also reads it with me, and continue to be lovely.